and welcome to A Little Crafting. My name is Annie and this is my infrequent podcast where I talk about all the things that I have been making. Today is the 10th of September, it's a Saturday, and I haven't recorded since the beginning of August, so it's been quite some time and I have a few things to show. If you're new or if you've not been watching me for very long and you like to find me on social media, I am a_little_crafting on Instagram and Ankiwoo on Ravelry. And I am a knitter, yarn dyer, weaver, spinner, sewist. I think that covers everything. It's all on the sign over there. So yeah, let's get started. It's now coming into autumn, so I'm feeling a lot more creative once again. I had a bit of a hiatus over the summer where I just really didn't feel like knitting the things that I had as works in progress. But I went through the shawls that I'd made over the last few years of being a knitter, and picked this one out today. This one is the Pincha shawl by Pinpilan Wingsai. It is a free pattern on Ravelry, and I knit this one several years ago. It was one of the first shawls I knit. It uses short rows to create these lovely leaf effects, and I knit it in Malabrigo yarn Mechita. In the Acro Iris colourway, although I know the Malabrigo colourways especially do vary quite significantly between dye lots because they're all these multicoloured yarns. This is a single ply yarn, so it works fine for a shawl but probably not for anything where you're using something quite hard wearing. And I am holding it together to make it almost like a cowl at the moment, with a hide and hammer shawl cuff. Which I bought at Unravel in February. So I thought this worked quite well for this one because it's one of those shawls where you don't really want it just to be draped over your shoulders. You really do want this kind of circular shape to show off all these leaf patterns. I will stand up for a second so that you can see the beauty of this. It probably doesn't go that well with the top I'm wearing, but I really fancied wearing this one today, so there we go. And you can see the shawl cuff kind of holds the end in place, so that we can see all of these beautiful feathers. This is something that I might make again, to be honest, now I've been reminded of it, because it is really beautiful and I remember having a lot of fun making it. So this might appear once again in my project soon. I'm tempted to make a more subtle one, so something maybe with a one colour but with a slight variegation. So I might end up picking something out of my selection here of my own hand dyed yarns to see if I can recreate this shawl in a totally different colour. It will be interesting to see how that turns out. But anyway, without further ado, let's talk about some things that I have been making more recently. So I have one FO, it doesn't count as knitting, but I have been absolutely loving spinning. So I'm finding it super relaxing. I got a whole selection of lovely lovely fibre to spin, and I wanted to just get going with that, and it's been really nice to do. So this is the latest spin that I've done, and it's really lovely. This is a 2-ply. I think I said previously that I tried some chain plying and I really didn't like the way that it turned out. So this is a John Arbon yarn. It is Viola in the Shepherd's Warning colourway, and it's all these kind of lovely blues and pinks all kind of jumbled together, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. The only thing I would say is I think in terms of plying, this one perhaps wasn't done as well as this skein. So this one looks quite good. This one's kind of a bit more loosey-goosey in places. But I think this should be about 200 grams. Obviously one skein is slightly smaller. That's because I was pushing it a bit on the bobbin with that one when I was plying. But I'm very excited to knit something out of these two. I was thinking actually of getting some of the Viola yarn, so the Viola yarn that John Arbon sells, and maybe doing a colourwork jumper. So having this as kind of the contrast and a yoke, and then having the main yarn as a mill spun yarn. It's going to be really lovely. I'm getting better as well at this. I can kind of see the progression. In fact, what I might do is take a picture later of everything I've spun up until now in a row, so that you can see how it's progressed. But yeah, very much enjoying it, loving the way that colours are coming out. To be honest, this hasn't turned out how I expected it to. When it was in the single ply rather than the 2 ply, it looked much more like it was going to have more of a contrast, but it is, because of the white kind of blending in, it kind of looks quite purpley, mixing that blue and pink together. So yeah, very pleased to have done that. It's 100% merino, this one, and it's very, very soft compared to the pure BFL that I spun before. So yeah, I am next probably going to spin this loveliness, which is Watermelon Whiz, because I really want to do some really bright colours. So kind of orange, teal, red, all mixed together. So I'll see how that turns out. Again, I'll probably 2-ply it, because that's what I feel like it makes a really lovely effect. I could try 3-plying something soon, but I think with something like this I'm probably just gonna, again, maybe use it for colour work or a shawl or something, rather than anything with cables, and I think 3-ply is better for cables. So I might 3-ply something else that I've got, and do something cable-y in more of a muted colour combo than this is. But yeah, really interested to see how this turns out as well in terms of spinning. It's a really interesting journey, I think, from kind of knitter to spinner, because suddenly I can actually create the effect that I want in a hand spun yarn. Intriguing. So we'll see. Yeah, like I said, I know I'm getting better at making it more consistent, and I'm really eager to start actually casting something on that I've hand spun and see what it looks like knit up. I might do some swatches soon. But yeah, once I get everything out that I've spun, I'll probably realise how much I have already. Anyway, so that's a bit of an insight into spinning, my spinning at the moment. I have some more bits to show later on. So let's move on to works in progress. So I have one project that I've already shown on this podcast, and 2 that I've cast on since the last time I recorded. And unfortunately the first one hasn't got very far relative to when I last showed it. So this is the Beachcombe by Tif Neilan in some Mr. B's yarn. This is the 4-ply yarn that Mr. B's, or actually Bird Street Yarn now, makes, and it's in the Hunter colourway. It's Hiddleston 4-ply. This is lovely green. There you go. Yes, a lovely green colour. I was hoping to actually finish this in the summer months, but I really ran out of steam, because at the moment, so it has this lovely detail at the bottom, which is the herringbone at the base of this top, and then you're basically just doing stockinette. So I've done maybe 4 inches, 5 inches of the bottom, and I think I need to do a lot more before I get to the sleeves. So unless I want to make it a really serious crop top, I have a long way to go. And I don't know whether I've said before, but honestly, just stocking it in the round on a 4-ply yarn, I just get so bored after a while. I knit a couple of rows and I just go, oh god, I'm not getting anywhere, and then run out of steam. So what I really need to do is take this kind of thing to a craft night, or knit it when I'm playing D&D, but you'll see in a minute I've been a bit obsessed with other things more recently. So yeah, that is getting there. I do want to have this top eventually, but again I might pop it to one side for now and just bring it out on those at the times when I really don't need to have something to concentrate on intently. Yeah, so I'll see, maybe I'll pick that up next summer, or you know, work on it sporadically, but I'm not gonna push myself to try and finish it ASAP. Yeah, I'm a weird knitter. I really dislike just doing something simple. I don't know why. There's just something about it. I am keeping this in my Marauders Map bag by Clara Rose Crafts, which I've mentioned several times before. Absolutely love this bag. Really great box bottom, and with a couple of handles on top, and one of many Clara Rose Crafts bags that I have. There you go. So that is project number 1, and it's gonna go on pause for a while, I think, unless I really fancy knitting it. The second one is something quite big that I cast on a couple of weeks ago, I think at most. I'm keeping it in a handmade bag by me. This is hand woven Crazy Zalbable colorway Chocolat Insight. I've said that so many times, I know it. And I made this zip bag, and I've just got a little thing on here so that I can pick it up. And sorry for all the rattling. This is the Weekend Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit. And I recently fell in love with Surrey alpaca and have got a bit obsessed with it. So I did spot this some time ago as a project and never really thought I would knit it because I didn't really have any kind of fluff or mohair or anything like that at the time. And I got it out again recently and had some yarn to make it, and then had some Surrey alpaca that I had a limited amount of, but I thought I could start off with and then order some more. And it is almost done. You hold Surrey alpaca and a DK yarn together, and that means you end up with something basically chunky, so it goes really, really fast. I am just on the neckline, so I knit one section of sleeve here, but I'm not sure, like I keep putting it on to try on, but I think without the neckband you can't really tell how it's going to sit because it just kind of gapes outwards when it hasn't got that structure. So I started off the neckband just to try and get that done, and then try it on and make sure that it looked right. If it doesn't look right, I will give it to someone else, because I've had so much love in knitting it that, you know, my husband can wear it. It's a really lovely colour, and you know, or my dad even, I could probably give it to and he'd wear it. So if it ends up being too big, like I suspect it is for me, I will give it to someone else. It's fine. So yeah, collar is on its way. One sleeve is done. I might redo this sleeve because it's a bit stiff, but again, I might block it before I do that just to make sure. And this is what it looks like overall. There we go. So like I said, I'm having a lot of fun knitting this, speeding along, knitting it whilst playing D&D, knitting it every so often whilst I'm sitting around in the evenings, on my lunch break, and that is what I need out of a knit, is something that I really care about, I really want to knit, I'm enjoying knitting and I also want the finished object as well. It's a really beautiful design, really simple as well. I love the way that you have to do the joins at the top of the shoulders. It's a really clever way of doing it, so it almost looks seamless. It's got a tubular cast off on all of the sections, so I don't know if I can show you really well there. Yeah, tubular bind off on the bottom and on the sleeve. And I have apparently got the knack of picking up stitches, because it actually looks pretty neat where I've picked things up. I used to be awful at picking up stitches. It could be that the Suri alpaca is hiding it, that actually it helps to kind of prevent the visibility of those mistakes, but I think the picking up of that has done pretty well. And it's so soft. And the idea is that this is a transition piece. So for example, the striped top I'm wearing today, I could wear this over the top and it would keep me warm without kind of overdoing it, without being a big fluffy jumper. And I should talk a bit about the yarn. So I showed this some time ago on the podcast. My underlying yarn is a Reborn Wool Recycled by Kremke Soul Wool. It says that it's 100% post-garment recycled textiles, and I'd really love to find out how they actually do manage that, because it's 65% wool, 25% polyacrylic and 10% nylon. So I'm wondering how they're processing that, whether they're dyeing it afterwards. But what's lovely is that in this wool you get these little flecks of other colours. Not really like neps like you would have in something tweedy, but just a subtle kind of addition. And when you pop it in with the alpaca, it's even more subtle. I don't know if you can see that, but there's just little flecks of red and turquoise in there. And I just really love the effect. So that's Kremke, what was it called? Reborn Wool Recycled. I say it was DK. I actually think it might be Aran weight. Double check that. Doesn't actually say. I will see if I can double check before I publish this episode and figure out whether it is. And the other one is Suri Alpaca Silk, and that is Cumulus by Fibre Space. So I got some of this when I first bought some Suri alpaca and knit with it and went, oh, I could do with some more solid colours, let's order those. And this one is colour Indigo, and it is made up of 74% baby Suri alpaca and 25% mulberry silk. So really beautiful effect, and a really simple statement slipover. And I'm quite keen to knit some more slipovers, as you will see in my acquisitions, because I've already got some yarn to prepare to knit something else. But yeah, that is what I am absolutely obsessed with at the moment, so I will probably wear it next time I record a podcast, because I'm pretty sure it'll get finished in the next couple of days. We'll see if I need to redo that sleeve or not, to make it fit a bit better, and then go from there. But I think it will be a really lovely piece in my wardrobe, something quite simple but quite usable as well, and having that interest of those little specks is really nice. So yeah, again, rattling away, I will pop this over to one side and talk to you about my next work in progress. Now this one is something I cast on just yesterday, because I bought a pattern. I actually went for a couple of hours to the Autumn Unravel Festival, just to have a little look around. I was umming and ahhing about going, and I decided to just go. I wasn't going to be doing anything else for a couple of hours, so, or anything, you know, worthwhile, so I thought, you know what, I might as well. And I bought this pattern, which I saw at the John Arbon booth. It is, ooh, if you can see here, toast and jam mittens. I very rarely knit mittens, but I saw them and I thought they're really nice and simple. They've got some lovely detail, and I think I will knit those. And what I did was I came home, I looked through my stash, I noticed that I still had some of this yarn, which is Red Woman, in its, what is it? Madeline Tosh DK Twist, that I've knit a sweater and a hat out of. And I thought this is perfect. It's DK yarn, works with the pattern, lovely colour. It will match my hat as well, because the hat that I've got, which I will pop a picture of in here, has a twisted rib on it. And this pair of mittens is basically twisted rib with some additional detail. So I have only just cast on, which means that, oh, there's not very much to show you, which is, there you go. So yeah, just a little bit there, but yeah, just all twisted rib so far. But I had fun starting this off, and I'll obviously carry on and show you a bit more next time. It is in a bag by Quince Pie on Etsy. These are lovely round bottomed bags that are great for small projects like socks or mittens, and yeah, fingerless gloves will be absolutely fantastic for the winter. I'm knitting these on 2.75mm needles that are probably smaller than the pattern calls for, just because I'm such a loose knitter basically. Yeah, there we go. So those are all the works in progress that I had to show, but I do have some acquisitions. So first one was obviously this pattern, the toast and jam one that I've already started, and then I do apologise for the crinkling. I'm just going to get everything out to show you. So as mentioned, I went to Unravel Festival Autumn yesterday, just in the afternoon for a couple of hours, and bought a couple of things, but not too much. My friend kind of convinced me to go because of the fact that she was there, otherwise I probably wouldn't have turned up. But I do recommend going on a Friday afternoon. It's quite nice and quiet. Obviously people are at work, or they've intended to go in the morning, so it was very possible to get access to all of the booths quite easily, to go and have a look around, to speak to the makers. It was wonderful. So yeah, I had a good time, just for a bit of a potter around the marketplace at Unravel. First thing, or second thing rather, is I always have to buy an Ankiwoo bag pin each time, and I bought this little one this time, so it will go on my project bag with all of the others. So I think I have about a 5 now. Have I been to 5? I'm not sure. I'll have to count them later on. So I bought that. I love all of the cat designs, but I don't think I would make that many of them as such. I just think they're great, but yeah. I also went to John Arbon's booth for some fibre, and I bought this just really plain merino. It's fairly affordable, so £4.50 for 100 grams I think it was. I also have Mill membership, which is great because it gets you extra discounts. And yeah, what I'm going to do with this is hand dye it when I get a chance to dye some more yarn. It's been so hot recently that I just haven't felt like it, because you know, you're spending 2 hours or so with the cooker on basically. Also energy crisis, all of that stuff, meaning that it's probably not that good for me to have the hob on for that long. But yeah, I intend to dye this up into some sort of multicoloured beauty and then spin it all up into some lovely yarn. So yeah, I got that first of all, and then I also bought some coloured fibre. So this one here, and unfortunately I can't remember what they were called because I haven't actually got a little note for them, but I'm sure I could probably figure it out from the website. I think this is also merino, but yeah, all these beautiful dark teals together. And then sitting next to it was this beautiful gold. Now I would not normally gravitate towards this, but the two next to each other made me want them. So yeah, so I ended up going for those, and I might ply them together, I might do something else, we'll see. So yeah, I got those, more spinning in my future. I think I need to spin a bit faster because I'm buying more fibre, and I need to spin faster than I buy, in the same way I should knit faster than I buy as well, so I don't end up with so much. But I'm also thinking, in the same way as I do with my hand dyed yarns, I might offer some of my hand spun to my craft group and see if people want it for a donation or something like that, because I have been very much enjoying it. I'm just not sure how quickly I'm going to use it in terms of actually knitting. So those two sets of things were also purchased at Unravel. And then finally I bought some more cereal alpaca because I have obsessions. I have periods of time where I just have one thing that I want constantly. And this is by the Little Grey Girl. It is the colourway Coveney. It's 74% cereal alpaca, 26% silk, so the same kind of ratio as the Cumulus. And the reason I picked it up is because it's got all of these lovely sections of different colours. Whereas I might be quite willing to dye a kind of slightly variegated colourway, I don't know how you would achieve this so easily, so I thought I'd go for something more interesting, and also quite subtle as well. Reminds me of just like fields of heather here in the UK. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to pair that with, but I will find something. That's the other thing about cereal alpaca, is I feel like it's now encouraging me to shop my stash a bit more and put things together with the suri, so I can use yarn I already have, put it together with this and make something that is absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I'll be sure to let you know what I end up making out of this one. And that is everything I bought from Unravel. Yeah, like I said, recommend going on a Friday afternoon, although don't all go on a Friday afternoon because that's now when I'm going to be going in future. So I also went a bit on a shopping spree because of the Drops Alpaca sale on Wool Warehouse. Now I did need to get some more Cumulus for my weekend slipover by Petite Knits, and I also noticed that there was a Drops Alpaca sale, which meant that all of the Drops Alpaca Silk was also on sale, and I thought I'd just get some colours that again I can use together with yarn I already have to make something. So I got I think this is Steel Blue, colour 25, and this is 77% alpaca, 23% silk, so it has a little bit less silk than the Cumulus. It's also much more affordable. I think these were like £1.50, something like that. And this is a blue steel that my husband picked out, so I'll probably make something for him. Then I also got colour 14, so this is kind of like a really light grey blue, I'm not sure, maybe just grey, very very light subtle grey, almost white. And I just thought I'd get this because it's quite a good neutral to hold with other things. I got colourway 23, which is this kind of red burgundy colour. And I also got colour 24, which is a burnt orange type colour. Yeah, so those were all the colours I got. I got them in varying quantities. The blue will probably be for something for my husband. The others will probably be for just other things. I might make some hats, I might make some more slipovers, possibly. Yeah. So yeah, all the plans to do lots with Alpaca Silk, and this is the bag for all of that. So yeah, getting a bit obsessed, but it does get used quite quickly. I mean, I've used, I think, about 150 grams of, no, more than that, almost 200 grams of the Surrey Alpaca Silk Cumulus on my weekend slipover. So when you hold it with something else, it actually still gets used quite fast. Yeah, how much yardage is in here actually? So yardage. 140 meters in the 25 gram ball. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. These are 25 grams. I think I still have a cumulus in here. Yeah, there we go. I think the cumulus is also 25 grams. It feels like it. Yeah, it's also 25 grams. So yeah, you're spending £6 on this and £1.50 on the others. So yeah, good value. I know there are some, I guess, ethical questions around buying drops yarn. And I do kind of think that if it's that cheap, there has to be a reason for it. But yeah, I was buying something else at the time and it seemed worthwhile considering. I will definitely be using all of this in something. I do acknowledge that it's not the best company to be supporting. But there we go. These are the initial acquisitions that I got from Wool Warehouse. I think that is everything that I want to talk about. I am thinking of making the Friday slipover by Petite Knit, and I'll be using some fingering weight yarn and holding it with that burnt orange alpaca silk that I ordered. So I will see when I finish my weekender slipover and then, or weekend slipover, and then possibly cast that on before next time. So I think that's absolutely everything I wanted to talk about. Do let me know if you have any questions or comments in the comments below. And please do like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. I will hopefully be recording more frequently once again now that it's autumn and I have more to talk about as well. Thanks so much for watching and have a very lovely crafty few weeks. Bye!